I can hear you.
Okay, cool. All right, everybody, we'll just give a couple minutes to filter in. I don't think Lex will be joining us today, but we have got a good agenda, and I will drop that in the chat first. Well, do we want to get started? I don't know if Max was going to join us today. Ryan, did you talk with him?
I'm not sure. No.
And
But
shoot
we
him.
did get that update from him, so we can still provide that.
All right, well, why don't we get started then? We can give an update on the indexer. I've seen a ton of GitHub activity over the last couple weeks from Max and the CloudMost team. So, Ryan, do you want to share what Max has sent to us?
Yeah. So they are almost done with the indexer changes. So they're expecting to be able to release the new version of the indexer with all functionalities with to the API either this week or next week at the latest. So assuming next week, that'll free up the Node Fleet team to make more progress on the front end. I'm sorry, yeah, the Node Fleet team to make more progress on the front end, which enables a bunch of other stuff as well. So the NFT staking front end, and then eventually our IBC Atom integration into the front end, as well as the NFT collection creation portal that we're talking about. So all those things are going to be kind of relying um, on Node Fleet, which is relying on the indexer. So they don't necessarily need Node Fleet to be totally uh, done with the front end, but we need it to be pretty close. So the indexer is going to kind of set off that chain of events. If we um, get that by the end of next week, then we should be all on track for our goals for the end of Q1. So everything is looking pretty solid right now as far as being able to move everything forward at the pace we need to. And yeah, it's very exciting. So that's how the indexer is going. The Node Fleet team's still working on the front end. As far as the two new proposals, we've talked with the teams that have submitted proposals for the IBC Atom um, marketplace integration as well as the NFT collection creation front end. Right now, we're just going through the process of answering questions back and forth to make sure that everybody's kind of fully aligned on requirements and objectives um, before we're going to get revised proposals submitted, which will have the final proposed timelines and budgets that we can get approved. Um, and then they'll be able to get started. Um, like I was saying, they probably couldn't get started right now, even if they wanted to, and even if everything was approved. So there's not a crazy sense of urgency to get that approved right now. But in the next couple of weeks, they'll have a lot more to work with. So we are trying to get that wrapped up, and we just want to make sure that we get those projects kicked off well, and that everybody kind of um, is confident in what's going into them and what's required and all that kind of stuff.
And so,
Um,
what we're looking at in terms of the two new projects that Ryan referenced, one is actually a person who's new to the community. His name is Anthony. He's worked on like the Talis marketplace, I believe, but he has submitted a proposal for the IBC Atom payments. And then James, who's on the call, and his team have submitted a proposal for the NFT collection interface. So those are the two teams we're in discussions with. We didn't receive a ton more proposals, so we're hoping to move those forward, like Ryan said.
and we are getting another proposal from uh,
Oh,
for the IBC Atom Marketplace integration, but we feel pretty good about Anthony's, and so just to get another proposal in, just to double check. But yeah, we feel really good about the two teams coming in. We love that Anthony is a new developer slash team that's joining the community. He asked a bunch of great questions on our call about Passage, and so we're excited to get more people involved. Um,
yeah,
so yeah,
absolutely.
think that is the update there.
Um, I know we briefly touched on NFC staking front end. I know James's team has been kind of paused. James, I don't know if you have any update that you wanted to share. If so, you can request to speak on stage. But I know that along with the front end, that's just been kind of waiting for the indexer update. So hopefully we'll be in a good position in a couple weeks to get everyone going again. Hello.
Hi BK, hi Ryan, GM everyone. So currently we are building out and trying to finish up with the UI and couple with the admin review based on the new contract that Casio reviewed and sent his feedback based on what we gave him on the hello, can you hear me? Based on what we gave him on the audit report, right? So we are currently going through the admin dashboard to finalize with the review before we do start doing integration on the front end. And also, we're also waiting for the indexer too along the line, but that won't be a major blocker as we are currently working on finalizing with the UIs and the reviews. When that is done, then integration starts before we finalize with the NFC staking front end.
Great, thank you. And I know Max just joined as well. I mentioned the indexer. Max, we already went over, we shared your update at the very beginning. If anyone wants to take a look at the repo, like I mentioned, there's a lot been going on there. So just sharing a link there. But James, thanks for the update. We're super excited to get NFT staking finally done. I know our community, especially the Strange Clan community, has been kind of patiently awaiting for that. So um, very excited to have an opportunity to get them engaged again as well. I think there's two other things on the agenda that we wanted to open up for discussion. One is you might have seen a couple weeks ago, we announced that Minscan was delisting Passage. This was essentially coming from a major change in their business model and their leadership team. We've been very involved with Cosmos Station. They were one of the largest supporters of our Passage token private sale. So, we've been collaborating with them for a while, but super disappointed in the major shift that we've seen. They're essentially asking an asinine monthly fee to pay for services, which we totally understand. You need to cover your bases and costs. But we weren't ready to foot the bill, which would essentially pay for an entire another developer's annual salary. But so with that, we are working with Primus, Zen Chain Labs. Primus is on the call to customize the Passage Explorer that he's already had running. And so we wanted to open up for discussion, like what features the community would want to see. Obviously, there's a lot of features on Minscan. It's a great product. Like I have nothing negative to say about Minscan itself. But so as users, as validators, as people within the community, we'd love to know like what are you wanting to see out of an Explorer? What are the most important features? I just kind of wanted to open the floor to that.
And it's also we just want to note that we've been talking with Zen Chain. They've been part of the community for so long and have actually already had this validator running. They quickly got some minor visual changes made for us to kind of update the branding a little bit, and we're kind of in agreement on a set of small changes to kind of get things up to parity. And we're working on our own list of just a couple of changes that are needed. But we also want to make sure that like the community knows that like this is an opportunity to request big features as well. And we're going to be very transparent with each other And if a feature is too big to kind of fit within the initial scope that we've set up for ongoing support, we can also open in additional bounties to get major features added. So we want this to be up to parity with MintScan, but also if there's things that are uniquely passage that would make this more valuable for folks, like we also want to make sure that the ZenChain team is aware of that as well, so that we have an opportunity to really make this thing perfect for our community.
And so this is not the initial project, and this initial collaboration isn't an open source bounty, but we do want to open that up as a possibility, like Ryan mentioned, if there are bigger features that the community sees value in. So we just wanted to throw that out there. If you guys want to take a look at the site, I just linked it in our chat. Um, Over the next week, if you want to check it out and use it and just see how it aligns with your expectations, definitely drop feedback because we want to incorporate that into our discussions with Primus. I think the last thing, I'm going to invite Dan to the stage. So, Dan from Cosmonaut Stakes. A couple meetings ago, we talked about something he had proposed, and I think we decided not to move forward with it, but he's got another idea that he wanted to run by the community and put up for discussion.
Oh, hi there. I was muted. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, so can I share my screen real quick? Give me just a second.
Mhm.
All right, you should be seeing my screen right now. Can you? Can someone confirm?
Yep.
All right, so basically we took the idea of the endpoint monitoring bot and we said, okay, right, currently it's just on Discord. And there's some difficulties to implementing a bot into Discord. The major one being basically is the friction between ourselves and the teams. And I understand there's a bit of pushback on integrating bots that don't necessarily serve much purpose, or they are not that necessary. So we thought about creating instead like a dashboard presenting all the data the bot aggregates in the backend, and then also giving the option to anyone to use the actual bot itself, with some limitations on Telegram. So let me give an example. This is for a cache. It'll take a bit to load. So the plan is here to have multiple things going. Working on this right now in the background, so this is not live, and I'm working on the validator monitoring thing. We got the bot in the background storing data and so on. But let me focus on this one currently. So it's basically, you can see all the networks here. You can see all the endpoints here. These are all from the Cosmos chain registry. And if someone, like Passage, for instance, if Passage decides to also implement a Discord bot, we also have commands to um, basically add custom endpoints. So if someone has an endpoint that's not on the Cosmos registry, the chain registry, then you can add it and it will appear here. But currently it's just those that are in the Cosmos chain registry. And you can just, search for yours. You can see a bunch of data here, by time frames. Can pick date ranges here. You can see response time distributions, how much, how much time it takes for the endpoint to respond back to the calls you make. Some performance stats and performance metrics. And then we also got the last 3 months of performance. If there's any downtime, basically. So if it's green, there's no downtime detected, and if it's yellow, it's less than 15 minutes, and if it's red, it's more than 50 minutes. You can see here it says it's the data has been updated just a few minutes ago. We basically do these calls every 5 minutes or less. And you can also use the bot here to subscribe to your endpoint if you want. Basically, there's a few commands. So you can browse blockchains. Basically, it lists all the endpoints and blockchains available. You can see all of them here. There's more on the second page. Let's say we want to list the cash ones. Just a second to load. List the cash ones, and now you can search yours here. Let's pick 14, which is Polkachooz RPC. We click here. Now we subscribe to the endpoint. So whenever it goes down, in this case for more than 5 minutes, you'll receive a notification here. The downtime threshold is configurable, so you can come here and use set downtime. Well, need to put a valid duration there. So let's say 10, and now it's 10 minutes instead of 5. And then you can come back here and see all the endpoints you're basically subscribed to. You can use the button to unsubscribe from any of them. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. So we're gonna implement more of these bots we have currently in the background with this dashboard, as I said before here. I'm working on this right now. And then we also gonna have one for IBC stuck packets as well. So same formula, basically. Some metrics here, historic data, calendar at the bottom, player on bot, by different data. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know your thoughts.
Greg, not to put you on the spot, but I'm curious, or Primus even, just as validators, if you guys have thoughts on this and its utility for you.
I could see use for different validators. Like I have monitoring in place myself, but especially with the passage chain, we have a lot of validators that are kind of new and only validate on just passage. So I could definitely see it being beneficial. I don't know what we would do. So, and I'd asked this before, like, what would we do if an IBC transaction got stuck, if we got an alert on it? Like, I don't know how to fix that. I don't run a relayer, so.
I mean, yeah, that's a fair question. So it's in that case, it's for just for relayers and teams behind, like for instance, the passage team. If someone is not aware of it, um, the passage team could ping the relayer in question that's in charge for relaying on the certain path. But if a relayer that for instance, let me give you an example. I currently, let's say, relay between Secret Network and Celestia. Actually, this happened not long ago, but I didn't have this bot running on Secret Network. So what usually happens is we have like a Telegram group, and if there are some stuck packets, they someone comes in and says, hey, there are some stuck packets on X path, and then someone comes in and takes an action on that, clearing the packets, solving the issue, seeing what's the issue for not relaying those packets in time. But if you have the bot, then relayers can just subscribe to the bot and get notifications when something's wrong. So you make sure there's at least one working relayer per path. If there's none, then packets will start getting stuck.
Right. So
So yeah.
I do like the idea of the alerting. Like we already have in the validator status channel, like constant updates on validators. If that functionality was also in there to alert that relayers, there was a problem with a relayer, and the each of the validators were associated with their Discord name so that they'd get alerted. Um, I just don't know if there was like a separate web page. I don't know how many people we'd be getting to go to that web page to set up alerting. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like I said, I don't run a relayer. I could set up alerting for myself, or I guess the Passage team would want to get alerts so that they can go track down whichever relayers are having an issue. Because
Yeah,
obviously
so
the team
yeah,
was
sorry for interrupting. Sorry, but actually, I have something to say. So you said about Discord bot. That's exactly what we have. Also, exactly the thing you said. That's we already have that. So it's a bot. Anyone can come in, add their tags to a certain path that they rely on, and get notifications when something's wrong. And we also have member tags. So not member, sorry, role tags. So the Passage team can also get notified when that occurs. And that's all on Discord. So that was the initial implementation. But we will also want to have the dashboard and also the Telegram bot in case someone doesn't want to implement the Discord one.
okay.
Where is this being like housed? So obviously you have your dashboard for Akash, for example. Um, is that being linked anywhere on like Akash Explorers? I'm just thinking through like, would this be useful to tie to the Explorer that ZenChain is working on and have a link to that?
Yeah, that could be useful. So currently it's not 100% like ready to, for production, to say, one way. It's basically hosted on our own servers, is deployed on our servers, hosted there, but we need to scale up a bit. It's currently kind of in a testing phase where we also implement new features, so it's not 100% finished yet. But yeah, once that's finished, yeah, Tyler is here actually. I can see Tyler in the call. I actually had a call with him, so yeah, we could, implement the cache one in, the blockchain explorers or whatever. Um, we will also plan to have a blockchain explorer in this website as well that we create. But first of all, is creating these three things I mentioned today.
Got it. Okay. Can you share? I assume this was a bounty for implementing on Akash as well. Could you share that with us just so I have a little bit more info?
So it's not a bounty. So the way we operate is basically we create tools or infrastructure or dashboards, bots, whatever you want to call it, and we want to make that work for all Cosmos chains we validate for. And the way we monetize it is via foundation delegations.
Got it. Okay. Ryan, let's take this to our team so we can discuss as well. All right. Thank you, Dan.
Yes, sounds good.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. This might be a bit long, but yeah, I think it was necessary. So yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, I think that covers everything on our agenda. Does anyone else have anything they wanted to go over? Just not related to open source, but I don't know if you guys have seen, we've been doing a collaboration with MIT this week. They have it's called Reality Hack. It's an experiential hackathon that's taking place this week. It actually starts tomorrow, but we recreated the MIT campus in Passage to basically give people who are traveling to the event the opportunity to like get their bearings and find their way around campus because it's huge. So Lex essentially did a one-for-one replica of the campus in Passage. It's going to be open for anyone to hop in tomorrow. So if you want to just check it out, check our socials and we'll be posting links and sharing whatever they're doing. But that's been really cool. I think just a really cool use case for Passage that it's been great to collaborate with them. So
I also
that's all
did
I.
just see we do have Max here as well if we wanted to get an update from Max. We discussed the indexer earlier, but
Hey guys.
hello.
So yeah, the indexer the main changes that we did were to support the new functionalities of the new marketplace that is being built by the NoFleet team. Is there anything specific that you want to have news from?
No, I think it was just we kind of gave the update that we were looking at this week or end of next week for kind of everything to be complete. I didn't know if you had anything else you wanted to add to that, or if you had any questions. While we have some folks here, if not, then all good.
Yeah, well, so we added previously in the first iteration we weren't indexing the traits, and we added that, so now the traits are queryable. We added a few endpoints that were requested by the Node team related to that. We, however, did not do anything related to NFT staking because it wasn't implemented yet. I don't know if it's implemented on chain right now, but I guess this is something that will be done in another iteration for sure.
Gotcha. Right. Thanks.
Yeah, we did some improvements also for performance and scalability, added a bunch of endpoints, and I guess if you wanted to know all the details, it's in the repo that was shared earlier. We do everything through pull requests, so you can review them.
And like Brianna mentioned, if anybody's curious, there's been a lot of updates to the GitHub, so feel free to poke around there.
Yep. Let me know if you have questions.
I don't have anything else. I don't know if anybody else has anything they wanted to ask while we have Max here. All right. If not, then Brian, are we good to close out?
Yeah, I think that's all.
Thanks, everybody.
Great. Yeah, thanks everyone. Really appreciate you all. We'll see you next month.
Cheers, guys. Bye bye.